All right, let's just jump right in. What do you think of when you hear the word grace? For a lot of us, it's a sense of relief, right? But what if I told you we've got it kind of backward? That somewhere along the way the definition got flipped on its head. What if what the Bible calls a spiritual superpower, we've accidentally turned into a permission slip? A permission slip to just stay weak, to stay stuck. Well, today we're going to dig into what the Bible actually says grace is for. And spoiler alert, it's not just about covering you. It's about completely changing you. So look at this. This really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the popular idea of grace, the one we hear about all the time. It's basically permission to stay stuck in our mess, a get-out-of-jail-free card for disobedience. But then you have what the Bible talks about, and that is a totally different animal. Biblical grace, it's power. It's the actual divine strength to meet God's standards. It's the fuel in your tank to obey and to hang in there when it gets tough. It's what makes holiness even possible. And listen, these aren't just slightly different takes. No way. We're talking about two completely different gospels here. Okay, so if grace isn't just a permission slip, then what is its real job? What's its job description? Because believe it or not, the Bible gives it a very, very specific one. And if we get this wrong, grace it can't do what it's designed to do in our lives. So let's get right to the source and see what its primary function really is. And here it is. This is the absolute key, right here in Titus chapter 2. I mean, just look at the language. It says, the grace of God appears. And what does it do? It teaches us. It's a teacher. And what's lesson number 1? What's the first thing on the syllabus? It teaches us to say no. Think about that. Before grace is about covering you, it's about empowering you to say no to all the junk that pulls you away from God. It's literally training you in resistance, in self-control. It's your spiritual personal trainer. So, what does this all boil down to? It means we need a new definition. Simple as that. Grace isn't just a concept. It's the divine power that trains you to say no. Just let that sit for a second and ask yourself this. Does the grace in my life actually strengthen me to resist temptation? Does it train me to fight back? Because if it doesn't, well, we have to be honest. We might be dealing with a counterfeit. And this counterfeit version, man, it has some really serious consequences. It creates this whole system of, well, forgiveness without any real formation. It's a covering without any correction. It's salvation without transformation. And what's the end result? You get a whole lot of people who can talk a good game about grace, but are completely powerless against the very things grace is supposed to help us defeat. It's a tragedy, really. So you gotta wonder, how did we even get here? How did we get so off track? Well, a lot of the confusion, and I mean a lot, comes from this one little phrase, unmerited favor. And look, I get it. It sounds super spiritual, it sounds right. But here's the thing. When you actually test that definition against the rest of the Bible, it kind of starts to crumble. Because Scripture is crystal clear that grace isn't just handed out to everyone, no questions asked. There's an entrance requirement, a condition. And this verse right here from James, this is the key that unlocks the whole thing. Just listen to this. God resists the proud. Did you catch that? He doesn't just ignore them. He actively resists them. The same grace that could empower them is literally blocked by their pride. But he gives grace to the humble. So what does that tell us? It tells us grace isn't random. It's not automatic. It's selective. It's a direct response to the posture of our hearts. And that posture, man, it makes all the difference in the world. Pride basically struts around saying, I got this, I'm good, don't need any help. And that attitude, it's like putting up a giant do not disturb sign for grace. It blocks the training. But humility is just being honest. It's raising your hand and saying, you know what? I can't do this. I need help. And that one simple, honest admission is what swings the door wide open. Humility isn't just a nice suggestion. It's the non-negotiable access code for grace. All right, so this brings us to another huge piece of the puzzle. This one clears up so much confusion. You see, we tend to throw the words mercy and grace around like they're the same thing, but they're not. They have totally different job descriptions. And getting this difference is absolutely key if you want to break free from those frustrating cycles of sin and failure. Okay, let's break it down like this. Think of mercy as the rescue helicopter. It swoops in, pulls you out of the burning building, and saves you from total destruction. It changes your circumstances. But grace is the Cree that comes in after the fire. It's the rebuilding. Grace is what strengthens you, what renovates you from the inside out, so you don't go running back into that same fire again. See the difference? Mercy rearranges your situation. Grace rearranges you.
And this right here, this is why so many people feel stuck. We keep asking for mercy over and over when what we're starving for is grace. I mean, think about it. God can rescue you from a mess 100 times, but if you're not getting stronger on the inside, what's going to happen? You're just going to fall into the same trap again, right? Mercy helps you get back up, for sure, but it's grace, that internal divine power, that actually gives you the strength to stay up.
Okay, now we get to what I think is one of the most exciting things about grace. It's not a one-and-done deal. It's not like God just gives you a little bit and says, okay, that's your allotment, make it last. No. Grace works like a feedback loop. It's dynamic. It's an engine. And the crazy part is, when you actually use it, it multiplies.
So how does this engine work? Let's walk through the cycle. First, you start with humility. That's the key and the ignition. It opens the door and gives you access. Then grace comes in and starts its training, right? It teaches you how to say no. Now here comes your part. You have to act on it. You actually humble yourself and choose to obey. And when you do that, boom, more grace is released to you. And the result? Your strength just multiplies. It's this incredible upward spiral of power.
So let's be absolutely crystal clear about this. Grace is not an excuse to be lazy. It's not a hall pass to skip out on discipline or effort or good old-fashioned spiritual grit. Not at all. Grace is the power that makes all that effort work. It's like the electricity that powers the tools. It's the supernatural energy that takes our clumsy, natural efforts and produces something we could never, ever achieve on our own. And you see how that just changes everything, right? Because if grace is a tool, if it's power, then it's not some soft pillow we just fall back on. It becomes an active, daily responsibility. God has literally handed you a power tool. The only question is, what are you going to build with it? So, this is where the rubber meets the road. It all boils down to this one question. A question that grace is asking you right now, today. And it's simple. What are you saying no to? Where in your life is grace actively training you to build resistance, to practice self-control? Because if the honest answer is nowhere, then we have to face the fact that we might be resisting the very power we need. But here's the good news. If you'll just humble yourself, if you'll just tell the truth about where you're weak and submit to the training, grace will make you strong. And you have to understand, strong believers are the ones who change the world. People who have been genuinely transformed by the raw power of grace, they're the ones who make a real difference. And that, my friends, is what this is all about.